Now, the news. Palmetto State Armory has been on an absolute tear this year. Just gun after gun after gun that come at mostly affordable prices and are what people seem to want. This next one might add to the list. They've just released the Saber version of the Micro Dagger, or Dagger Micro, whatever. At the core is a 3.4-inch 9mm barrel in either black or titanium nitride coating. It comes with two 17-round mags using an extension to get the extra 2 over the 15. Then some fancy Cerakote, laser stippling on the grip, and an aluminum flat face trigger. There's also that magwell, and then an optic cut in RMSC pattern. All of that carries an MSRP of $600 for the black version or $630 for the camo versions. That is about $290 above the standard Micro Dagger. There are a lot of upgrades there, but is it worth that much more? I'm not really sure. We loved the base model Dagger, but haven't shot any of the Saber guns yet, so it's hard for us to say. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Would you be willing to shell out an extra bit of cash for that fancier feature set? Sound off below. Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News. I'm John Patton. If you would like to see us do a massive giveaway when we hit 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, please get subscribed now. Tell your friends to do the same. We are climbing further up that mountain every single day, and I would love to have your support. And stick around till later in the episode because we have yet another great deal of the week for you this week. Yeah, I keep trying to do that for you guys. Try to save you some cashola. Do people say cashola? Moving on, we've got a bunch of affordable stuff coming at you this week. Whether or not you will actually want it is a totally different discussion because this next one is from Bear Creek Arsenal. They've got a bit of a rough reputation with you guys, but they just announced that they have a full line of shotguns coming to market. They say these are imported for BCA and tested by BCA before they get sold. So hopefully they won't be absolute trash. There are two pump-action shotguns, one black for $290 MSRP and a fancier one for $380 MSRP. Both are 12 gauge with a 20-inch barrel. Then you have a bullpup with a battle-worn finish. Are we still doing that? Really? Battle-worn? And it carries an MSRP of $300. Then you have four different semi-autos ranging in MSRP from $300 up to $490 for that Turknelli version. Barrel lengths range from 18 on the Turknelli up to 28-inch for the camo or the bougie-looking one. Honestly, these are dirt cheap, and if they work, they might be worth the cash. The jury is still very much out on these. Who knows? I've said before that I am a shotgun snob, but if you guys demand it, we'll try to get one of these and run it through its paces. In less affordable news, Smith & Wesson released a walnut version of their 1854 lever action in 30-30. It has a 20-inch stainless barrel, 6-round mag tube, and a pick rail on top with an excess sights, rear, ghost ring, and a gold bead front sight. There's also a threaded barrel, which is chef's kiss. Thank you for that. 30-30 is a great whitetail cartridge, and this could be a good option if you've got the itch for hunting with a nicer lever gun. In more imported gun news, we've got 3 companies bringing in shotguns, likely from Turkey, but it's not always clear of the actual origin. Akar USA has the Ranch Hand pump action in 12, 20, 28, and 410 chamberings. All of them have a 28-inch barrel, polymer furniture, and come with a plug installed for 2+1 capacity for hunting regulations, likely to end up as a 4+1 when you inevitably will remove that plug. MSRP is $429 on all of those. SDS Arms is also bringing in some shotguns under their Spandau Arms brand. There are 3 versions, all 20 gauge. First is a 28-incher with wood furniture. Yes, they just call it's wood. They don't say what kind of wood, just wood. That has an MSRP of just over $550. Then you have the 24-inch version with mossy oak bottomland camo for just under $650 MSRP and a 28-inch version of that same thing with that same MSRP. I hope these are good because that MSRP does not scream cheap Turkish clone like some of the other ones we've looked at. Then you have EAA bringing in an over-under 12 gauge with a 28-inch barrel and walnut furniture for $479 MSRP. This is under the Blickley brand. No idea what that is. And they also have a rifle under that same brand. That's a bolt-action 308 with a 5-round detachable mag, pick rail on top, a fluted threaded barrel, a cheek riser for $670 MSRP, and that actually looks pretty nice to me. I think that looks great. They say it's a 700 pattern, so I guess it'll have some compatibility with maybe triggers or chassis or whatever, a lot of aftermarket stuff. So that's cool. In your not likely to buy this news from Auto Ordnance, they've released special editions of the Thompson in 45 ACP for the 250th anniversary of the Navy and Marine Corps. These are very lazy special editions and just look like they've slapped some logos on the sides, and that's kind of it. There are 1911s to match with these. MSRPs are not listed. So I fully expect you guys to make it up down below. What do you think they're trying to charge for these? Speaking of special editions, Ruger announced a 50th anniversary edition of the Mini 14, and rest assured there's virtually nothing special about this besides some laser engraving of the logos, the 50th anniversary logos, and some polished parts and a bayonet lug. It's chambered at 5.56, has a 20-round mag, and carries an MSRP of $1,400. It does look pretty nice on the surface, but I think you have to really like Mini 14s to get this. I do have a special spot in my heart for some older guns. I have a few back here that are really neat, but I feel like special editions need to actually be special besides logos on the gun. It feels very disingenuous to not actually be very different than the production version of the gun that's currently being made. It's super weird. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. While we hear from this week's sponsor, Second Call Defense. If you ever get into a defensive shooting, first you call 911 and your second call should be to Second Call Defense. They offer unlimited legal defense protection for both criminal and civil defense cases, and immediate cash bond for up to $1 million so you don't have to spend the weekend in jail. It's also not just limited to guns. They'll protect you in a self-defense case with any weapon. Kitchen knife, a baseball bat, a rock, a vehicle, your hands, anything. There's also a 24/7 emergency legal hotline, on-site assistance, and they'll even help you get your gun back. In fact, I feel so confident in what they've got going on that I decided to become an Ultimate Plus member. Yes, that is real. I am an Ultimate Plus member, and I got the maximum protection that they offer. I highly recommend that you go to secondcalldefense.com, and when you sign up, if you use the code TGC, you will get your first month free. Be sure to go over to secondcalldefense.com and use that promo code, and of course, big thank you to Second Call Defense for supporting TGC. We really do appreciate them. Let's keep it rolling with this week's Friendly Fire question. If you want to ask me a question, slam it down in the comments with the words Friendly Fire so I can go back and find it. That's how this works. This segment is really fun for me. I enjoy interacting with you guys this way, and I hope you guys are really enjoying it. Let me know if you hate it. First is from Sunburnt Bell on YouTube, and they asked, is being picky about ammo brand and type a waste of money? Not at all. Some ammo is just flat out made better. The key is to find stuff that works in your guns, like get it working, and then find stuff that works great in your gun and stack both of them deep. For example, we have a lot of Hornady ELD match stuff on hand for precision rifle testing because it works really well on a lot of different guns. We also have a couple questions from our followers over on X, aka Twitter. Go find us over there. Lost Gen Exican says, when you're shooting for accuracy, if you aim at the center of the target and the first round hits somewhere off of that, do you adjust and shoot at the first impact or just keep shooting at the initial point of aim? I know it might seem a little bit more intuitive to shoot at the impact that you see, but in order to put down a consistent group, you'll need to hold the same point of aim every single time. If your zero is not perfect, that's less important when you're shooting for groups. If you're worried about your zero, you can adjust from there, but for groups, you don't want to move from that initial point of aim. You want to be aiming at the same point, and hopefully the rounds will land in the same area. Also, over on X, Jeremy Klein says, do you think most Canadians will turn in their guns, or will they resist? I honestly think that most Canadians, just like most Americans, don't have the balls to stand up for themselves against tyranny. I think people are being molded into sheep, and they've gotten comfortable being that. That's what they want, right? Between the trash in our food, water, soil, and air being pumped into our bodies at an alarming rate, and the world being designed to keep you from noticing what's going on around you, I just don't think most folks are going to take their head out of the sand. It's too comfortable for most people. Hopefully Canadian viewers will do the opposite. and stand up for themselves. My friendly fire question to you guys this week. Would you consider yourself a prepper? Why or why not? I feel like a lot more people these days are looking at ways of taking control of their lives, and I'd bet a good amount of you guys are too, whether you're starting to grow your own food, maybe you got some chickens, maybe you're going off-grid. I want to hear your thoughts. You know the drill, answers below. We've got some more accessories to cover for you this week as well. First is the ultra-affordable Triumph HD from Vortex. This is a classic 3-9x40 rifle scope with a 1-inch tube for an MSRP of $150. It's really straightforward, and that is a perfect setup for first hunting rifle, a kid's first hunting rifle, something like that. That would be great. I used to recommend them all the time working in a gun store back in like 2012. I mean, that's a great 3-9x40, especially made by a company that you trust. Great. X-Tech has a new mag for Glocks that have a 15-round requirement. These fit 20, though. MSRP is $38, which is not cheap. But I've had very good luck with X-Tech stuff over the years, so I have confidence these will be pretty good. It's like the 15-round mag plus a extension on there. Cool. MDT has an anniversary edition of the JAE G5 chassis. It's the 20th anniversary of that existing, and for $1,400 MSRP, you could have one in black or True Timber Midnight Camo. I've heard a ton of good things about this chassis, so that's really neat. I do think it looks very ergonomic. Good, cool. Love to see that. And Griffin Armament now has a 30 caliber version of their Optimus can called the Optimus 7. These are low back pressure cans made from 17-4 stainless the entire way through. They are FA rated and will handle pretty much any 30 cal you can throw at it. They brag about having a very low flash signature. They even show that in the demo. And for an MSRP of $800, that's pretty neat. In gun industry news, we've got a bunch this week. Background checks for September have been reported. And once again, the numbers are low. That's not great. This is the second time this year we've dipped below 2 million checks for the month at 1.93 million. We haven't seen that low of a number since 2018. So far this year, we've had just under 19.4 million checks, and that's not amazing considering last year we saw 28 million for the entire year. To hit that number, the last 3 months of the year would have to roughly hit 3 million checks each, and that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, the industry remains on the struggle bus. Also in industry news, there's been some nonsense going on in Canada lately. We hinted at it earlier, and it's been alleged that Colt Canada, and therefore CZ, are tied to being the service provider for destroying guns taken by a mandatory buyback program from the Canadian government. Of course, Colt says they are not involved. Of course, they would say that. However, there's been speculation that there may be some kind of government cover-up to protect vendors that help them accomplish this tyranny. The jury is still out, but I do know this. The Canadian folks that are dealing with this right now are pissed. Pissed. That is some bullshit. Another thing that will annoy you is that Watchtower Firearms has gone through their bankruptcy only to change the name to Watchtower Defense and scoop up the company and then pretend like nothing happened. They claim that there is new ownership, although who that owner is remains unknown. And all I can say is, do not, for the love of all that is intelligent, do not do business with a company that is doing a bait and switch like this. That is a bad idea until proven otherwise. What the do not buy from them. Also, the Trump admin recently rescinded a Biden admin rule on the importation of firearms and ammo. We went over that a while back. That rule was set back in late April 2024. And it's just now being found that this would cause significant damage to the American gun industry. Yeah, duh. I could have told you that in like 30 seconds. Politicians forced the U.S. into a global economy decades ago, long before I was born, and now we require outside production to make stuff more affordable for U.S. consumers. That's beside the point. This is a win for the Trump admin. Let's hope they continue the trend and keep doing great stuff for gun owners. Now, that's it for this week's. So just put your phone down, maybe go say hi to your family, or alternate plan, if your family is annoying and terrible, go watch the recent 2011 reviews we did on the Bursa M2X1 and the Mac 9 DSD comp. Both of those were really interesting. See y'all next week.